Oh, if you
Don't
want a
ask
if you want a segment, Ben, you can have one. Or you'll have your gardening one soon.
We need a jingle.
Yeah, can we do a jingle?
For the
Ben's back.
Is that wrong?
Yeah,
Is it
that's
wrong
right.
to use that though?
Because Don Burke's a creep.
Yes.
Well, if it says Ben and not Burke, we should be fine.
I don't know. I'm probably not keen for something associated with bloody Rolf Harris either. So.
What's he got to do with Burke's backyard?
Well, just aligning myself with certain characters.
You didn't bring a wobble board.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Here We Crow podcast. We're all sort of feeling a bit flatter than we have been after the last month of wins.
There is no horn noise tonight.
There is no horn noise tonight, although you couldn't find it last week,
It's
could
more
you?
like...
But the band's back together.
The band is back together. I think you guys did a pretty admirable job. Admiral, was that?
Admirable.
Job. I have people when I go round that know that listen to the podcast that pull me up on some of my pronunciations of weird words.
Oh,
so
no.
it's good. So there it goes again.
Well, thanks for that feedback, Sam. Because
It's no Elliot Yeo.
Shut up. I know it didn't come across, but we had some major technical issues.
Yeah.
Sorry about the echo chamber last week, everyone. I hope you didn't mind too much.
It's easy enough to do. And it helps that I've done 52 of the 54 episodes.
55 actually.
55.
So it's 53.
Yeah. So
anyway,
welcome, Lauren.
Thanks.
Welcome, Dan.
Thank you.
And welcome, Benjamin.
Thanks, Sam.
Look, first up, we just wanted to talk about, we just want to bring up the feedback form that we put out there a couple of weeks ago. Thank you so much to everybody that sort of gave us their sort of thoughts about the podcast. It wasn't a short feedback form, and I have to admit, I thought we might get maybe 4 or 5 replies, and we got well more than that.
Yeah.
So
6.
No, well more than 6.
Yeah,
I just want to say thank you to everybody. So we're actually going to do a little bit of a revamp. So we're gonna do the pre-game warm-up's going to be much shorter.
We don't need to tell everyone what we're doing.
No?
There's just going to be a few changes.
Yeah, there's going to be some changes.
And we'll work on it. We're working on it to
Yeah,
make it better.
we're changing things.
Yeah.
Nothing that you like will go for sure. But things that you
Sam's
don't like
segment's over,
my
but-
segments being pushed back, which
No.
is
No, we're always trying to make the podcast better. So our DMs are always open if you've got any suggestions or feedback for us. You don't need to fill out the form. We'll close the form now, but yeah, very grateful for everyone's feedback, which was overwhelmingly positive, which just makes us feel nice and warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
thanks very much, everyone. We really appreciate it.
And another thing I want to bring up here is our merch store. We always say it at the end of the episode, usually at about an hour and 20 minutes when no one's listening anymore. So if anyone is keen for a bit of Here We Crow merch, it sort of helps us out to keep this beast rolling.
Yeah, and winter is coming, folks. So we've got plenty of jumpers on the web store.
Yep.
Get into it.
I uploaded a few sweaters with the designs on them.
Yeah, you
I
said
want
the
one.
other week.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of that, we should put in our own order
Yes,
tonight.
we do. Yes, let's do that tonight. Look, we got Dog Act. Unfortunately, Ben has a song tonight, and we have another very humorous nuff. But first,
Music.
Cool drinks.
Lauren's reaction to the beer was quite humorous.
Fuck.
Look, we got Woolshed beer, so up from the Riverland. This is called the Perfect Stick. I got this from Nathan at the Tonsley today. Toasted marshmallow, oat cream, white choc stout, 6.8%. And that's all we're saying about the beer because that's how we're doing this now. Music.
We'll talk about it later. Dan, what are you listening to this
straight,
week?
straight off the bat, I'm feeling pretty good about this track because Ben doesn't have to have an opinion on it anymore, so I'm just going to play it. And it's a band called Lovecraft, and they've teamed up with the band called Trash World for a song called Hot as Hell. Lovecraft are a spooky obsessed hit makers. They've written songs with Beyonce, Madonna, Rihanna, etc. But they've teamed up with Danny Miller from Surfboard side project with her good friend and model Ashley Smith. It's electro dance and it's good and it goes on.
What will you sacrifice?
Bow down.
I'm hot. I'm hot as hell. I'm hot. And I do it well.
I can just just imagine Dan singing that in his bedroom.
Oh yeah, in
That's
front of the mirror.
That's where the crows were once, hot as hell.
Yep. Not
This week, I'm listening to a band called Moody Beaches. I thought I'd already played them on this podcast, but apparently not. They're a 3-piece out of Melbourne. They've just released their new record, which is called Acid Ocean. And this song is called Counting Reasons. Yeah, definitely recommend seeing them if they come to Adelaide. They are one of the best live bands I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Good
that
album.
sounded cool.
Straight up.
Nice.
Ben.
Yeah, so
I forgot about this.
Yeah, I just felt compelled with this one just after the result on the weekend. A song released in 95, but I think based on this game, basically. And maybe you want to know the name, I don't know. So it's Just by Radiohead. So yes, you do it to yourself, and that's what really hurts.
Never has a Radiohead song been more apt, Ben.
Yeah.
I love giving Ben shit, but that is an excellent song.
And just to rub it in our faces, we had Still Side Bottom smugly looking like he walked out a back door, drunken in the middle of the night to
Naked.
get that footy and kick a point to win the game.
And that was the pre-game warm-up. Let's talk about some footy.
That is the mark of the year. I'll say now, no one will beat that.
So who wants to go first? Are we all grumpy? Ben's positive.
I'm actually not either of those things. I'm pretty ambivalent about the whole thing. I'm not as furious as I thought I would be.
Yeah.
I am really happy that we brought it against Collingwood because they are and were always going to be a really tough team to beat. We've won 4 on the trot. Almost impossible to win 5, let's be real. That's like just odds.
Yeah.
I thought we were good. Obviously, we gave the game away with our shit kicking. Some of our composure was gone in the second half.
Yeah.
And like we've discussed earlier before we started recording, like we kind of all just saw it coming, especially at the start of the last quarter. And that just made me kind of resign myself to the fact that we were going to lose. And I didn't feel that bad about it.
I think us being all cynical Crows fans and Crows fans for a very long time, I think seeing that first quarter, we all probably sat there and went, well, we're not going to win this game. It felt bad from the start, even though we were winning. It was weird.
We looked good.
Yeah.
We just couldn't finish off.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like where the positivity comes in, right, Ben? Like,
Well, yeah, I think you think about last year, our good games, we were competitive with the good teams, whereas this game we dominated a good team. We just couldn't get it on the scoreboard. So it wasn't just that we were keeping up with them, we were beating them, but we weren't putting on scoreboard pressure. So I think, again, while we've lost, and it's very frustrating, and I did have to do some comfort eating on the way home.
Zinger Stacker Box, nice word.
Zinger Stacker's
one
back,
of
baby.
my favourites. Yep.
So it's not that I don't care. It's just that I think it does, while the result is bad and it's a massive opportunity that we had to get points we weren't expecting just gone, I think it still shows that we are better than we were last year. And
absolutely.
And it also, to me, made it look like we are a team that's worthy of trying to go for finals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Only a few weeks ago, we still weren't, none of us tipped us to make finals. It's funny how a couple of games our expectations suddenly go up so quickly. So it might be part of the reasons we're missing goals is that the goalpost keeps shifting for this team.
Ben, love it.
Well, if we'd won,
I'm glad I got the joke.
yeah. Oh no, I got it.
I'm just waiting for that button to be pressed.
No, pretty
Adelaide's
solid
rocking.
across the board. Let's talk about a few positive things first. Rory Sloane's tackle to get pivotal time, and obviously, ex-captain goes back and just slots it when we couldn't kick a goal to save ourselves on the night. I thought Chase Jones's game was really good again.
Fantastic, yeah.
Another 2 goals too. It'd be lovely if he could just maybe, he had a couple of those 2 points that he kicked were absolutely very kickable goals. It would be lovely if he scored them. But he's just looking like a pure member of the team now, like top 10 picked.
I just worry he's he's out of contract at the end of this year, and now I'm worried he's building up to the Tasmanian captaincy.
Yeah. Well, was it 2027 they're coming in officially now? I think was the call today.
I didn't actually read any of the news about it, but they're going to have to sort out their name debacle because Warner Brothers owns the trademark for Tasmanian Devils. I don't know. I think the
Wouldn't
way
they own just the
Tassie
singular
Devil, surely.
Tasmanian Devil? There's only one Tasmanian Devil. These are the Devils.
Oh, look,
That
Ben,
might
I
be
don't know, but
splitting hairs,
apparently
Ben, I reckon.
it's a blockade. But I can see a way
Take out
around
the
it.
Warners, Ben.
I can see a way around it. Get Warner to be the sponsor of the team.
No one wants that. No, that's an awful idea.
They could just get their hand off it and let them call them the Tassie Devils.
Yeah, they could, Ben.
So it's been a bit of a hot topic across podcasts, Twitter over the last couple of days about the coaching, defensive mindset, our setup in that last quarter. Probably even maybe just some changes that maybe could have been made through the game when our forward line just didn't look like it was working like it should. We took a lot of shots from 40, 45 out from players that probably aren't at their best at that distance. Fogarty and Tex Walker weren't really getting anywhere near it.
Fog disappeared again.
Yeah.
In the mist. It's gone.
Absolutely. So like him and Walker taking shots from that far out, he's fine. Rochelle obviously showed that that's definitely his limit, generally speaking. And Pedler had a bit of a nightmare in front of goal as well. So, yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on the coaching side of things? Are you positive, negative?
Dan, you were watching at
Indifferent?
home. You're probably
Yeah,
better.
look, I think I've seen a lot of the same opinions online. Overall, and I just wanted to say I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed with the result. It was very typical. Like there were a lot of us sitting there, and we talked about this again beforehand. We were like, yeah, what you guys have already said. We could see it happening. It was like scripted already.
Yeah.
This Collingwood have shown time and time again that they can come back. And when we butchered so many shots early, it seemed like a foregone conclusion. So it was extra hurtful that it actually happened in the last kick, the last scoring kick of the game. But in terms of the coaching, I made a few notes. Obviously, that move to take Saligo off at 3/4 time and bring on Schonberg. Schonberg was put in basically like there's the opposite of a coach killer. It was like a player killer. They put him in. He's got 40% disposal efficiency, and that's probably being generous because his disposal was horrendous.
Yep.
And all under pressure, which of course it was because it was the last quarter in a winnable game for Collingwood. Saligo was one of the best on ground at the point he was taken off.
Yep.
Probably could have got best on ground if he wasn't taken off, or close to it. So that was just, you scratch your head, you just don't know. But then a few of the other sort of coaching things that we all saw is like Dawson dropping behind the ball at the end rather than being on the ball.
Yep. It was late though.
Strange.
We've seen a lot of, Ben and I mentioned tonight, we've seen a lot of commentary about that happening sort of at the start of the last quarter. He was in the midfield and was starting in the middle right up until sort of the end.
And last week he was lauded for pulling himself back to win the game. So
Yeah.
So maybe they try it again. But you've got to read the game as on its merits, I think. And the other thing, like Ben Keys did an amazing job in keeping Nick Dacos pretty quiet, but then we just let Josh off the chain.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
You've got to account for both of them in some way. Josh probably played the game of his life, really, in the end.
Yeah.
He smashed us. The other thing, and this is probably, it's a really hot debate, right? There's a lot of people that saw Rob's game as good. He got in the best players. He got in the coaches' votes. He took some good marks around the ground. But
let's wait for Sam's bargain bin.
Wait. A lot of other supporters saw it like this. He's tapping to no one. He doesn't know. He taps it directly to Collingwood players. The midfield not connecting with him still. It doesn't matter how many taps he wins because they don't go anywhere and give us any advantage. Is it chicken or the egg? You know, it's the hot debate. Mark Bickley said that the midfielders aren't honouring Rob's tap work. I call bullshit personally because I don't see it, but
He has photos. I swear he's got photos, Rob. Because
Why does this line always get trotted out
it's a DMAC.
every time?
it's just something I don't understand it. Like that game, yeah, okay, he took some big clunking marks.
So
throughout
did
the game.
Thilthorpe.
So did Thilthorpe.
Yeah.
They were both a foot taller than everybody else in the field. Of course, they should be taking strong marks. Like there's that part of it is a write off as far as how good his game was. And we got absolutely smashed in clearances.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
Killed, especially in the last quarter.
it's a bit of a bad combination, really, of like playing against a Collingwood midfield and having like kind of young baby midfielders in the middle and having Rob. The potion ain't good.
It
but
really isn't.
You're right. Like, when is Rob held accountable? Like, his position is ruck. Like, yes, he was great around the ground. Not going to deny him of that.
Serviceable, yeah.
Clunked a lot of important marks that they were very crucial. But like,
So
you
we
said,
should have been marking.
Do
him, though,
we
'cause he's
need to be
taller.
more adaptable to like the team that we're playing against and try Strawn against a team where we need to win the ruck? More often, like Strawn looks a bit, for want of a better term, Gumby around the ground. But
How
is he
rude.
is he going to give us first look, which is actually going to give us an advantage over a team like Collingwood?
Well, I'm damn sure that Strawn would have had more effective hit-outs than against Billy Frampton, of all people, in that game than Rob did. Like, Billy Frampton lost the hit-outs, but as far as I could see, watching most of the replays as well, it was an even draw. Like
that just means that Rob gave it to Collingwood, really, doesn't it? Like, Ben, I can see you've got something to say.
Ben's itching.
Before Ben does say that, I just do want to say I'm really revolted at the booing of Billy when he was kicking for that
that
goal.
was so dumb.
Why are we booing Billy?
Yeah.
He didn't leave on bad terms.
No.
He left amicably. He wasn't getting a game.
Yeah.
He got an offer. He took it.
Yeah.
Don't boo Billy.
We were
I'd
playing
hate
him
it.
in the reserves and he got an offer from Collingwood as if he wouldn't go.
Exactly. That's crazy to me. Ben, go for it.
Okay, so so a couple of things. There's a lot of ground covered there, Dan. One of the things I think with the coaching, there's been a lot of talk about we dropped the ball, terrible coaching in the last quarter or whatnot. But I think there needs to be more made of the fact that we did put the top team under pressure.
Absolutely.
We made them turn the ball over so much. We came in with a game plan that should have won us a game, but we kept them in the game. So, and Collingwood, it's not as if we're the first team that Collingwood's ever run over. So, I think while there's probably some deficits in that last quarter, I think overall we were really well prepared to go into that game and should have won it. So that's that. The Sligo thing, I reckon there might be a little bit that they're not telling us about that a bit.
But what's the benefit of that though?
I'm not saying that there's necessarily a benefit, but I think there may well be something because clubs like to be a little bit hush-hush about vulnerabilities of their players.
But
the only thing I could accept is if like there was before the game they said, all right, Jake, you're going to play 3 quarters because you're not quite there. And he knew it.
Yeah.
Like,
I think there's
But
more,
if that was the
more
case,
to
he
it.
started the 4th. He was on the ground.
I think there's more to it, but I don't know. I don't actually have any inside information. It's as good as my contacts are. So,
Down at
you
Stroud.
didn't have Daddy on the phone,
so
Ben?
yeah.
He had Duddy.
We don't always
Duddy.
talk. We
Duddy from
don't always talk football. Me and Nixie. So
Oh, really?
we've
What
got
else are you talking
other
about?
parts of our life.
Greenery.
There has been a lot of. I saw the Thilthorpe interview. Very keen on golf. So we talk a bit.
Oh, right, yeah.
Me
yeah.
and the players and the coaches. We give them a bit of time off of football.
Yeah, okay, well,
Ben,
that's good.
Yeah,
Ben's
fair
been
enough.
giving seedsmen some tips on how to grow too. So
Oh, really?
Yeah, no.
We should be.
Talking about the stats, so yeah, the Rob stuff. So his ruck work wasn't the greatest in terms of stats. So last year we were concerned about it, and he was about the average, about 30% hit outs to advantage. On the weekend he was 20%, so 44 hit outs for 9 to advantage. So that is below what you'd hope to see from your ruckman. And we were smashed, 25 to 46 in clear ounces.
Seed
not
food
a
on the
pizza.
brain.
When you're losing
Zing.
When you're losing clear ounces, your pososals go way down. So, But I think maybe when they were winning the clearances early, they weren't quality clearances. We kept pressure on them, whereas they were able to find a lot more space and time and get forward a lot better in that last quarter. So I think they changed themselves up, maybe their structures, and we didn't keep it with that. And they found a lot more space. So
I felt like they were letting us play our game in that first quarter for sure.
Yeah, I just want to add something there. Yeah, so we're 1 point down with a midfield setup of Sloan, Laird and Keys. I don't think that the way that game was being played with the midfield breaks that they were getting, that was a good idea with the old 6-6-6 rule. I think, we there was a time there that they just, as soon as it went their goal side, we were so far behind because of our speed there.
Why did they throw Keys in there? They should have thrown Chase in there.
Well, Keys was in there a lot. I don't know the stats, but I've watching the fair bit of that replay tonight. He was in there a fair bit again, which is interesting.
Just one more thought before we'll get into votes in a minute, but the thing that hurts the most, I think, about that is that how winnable that game was, and then looking at our next month of footy.
Yeah, that's the problem, I think, isn't it? Because we lose that game, and now we play Geelong in Geelong.
Like, there's a very fair chance we'll go we'll lose the next 4, but I hope not. I hope we snatch a couple. But based on paper, if we lose those 4 games, it's going to be a pretty rough middle of the year.
It's going to put a fire in the belly, I feel, this week.
I hope so. I hope you're right. I hope they're not flat after that.
One thing I said to Ben earlier too, I know we haven't won there for forever down at Cardinia, but we have had some pretty reasonably honourable performances down there over the years. So it's not all doom and gloom. I think we have played better than some teams down there.
Well, last year we were within a few kicks in the last quarter.
And
we're a better team this year.
We're a better team, and we're a new team. What do you know?
Yeah,
we haven't been the same team for the last 20 years, losing at Cardinia.
No, of course, No, it's just
think,
always the stats that are rolled out, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
it's not a bogey oval. We won against Hawthorn in Tasmania. We can do it again.
Yeah,
similar quality of team.
Yeah, absolutely, Ben. By popular demand, I talked to a fan at the game. Now, we don't actually stand on the hill anymore, so it's a bit hard to find the Crows, Nuffy / Gronks in the Western stand. But we did. There was a young gentleman in front of us this week who was
a massive Gronk.
No, he was.
And just a shout out to all those people who were kind enough to talk for our pod last year.
He was like 12.
Yeah, Dan wasn't there, and now he's throwing shade on the guy that's given us.
He was a lovely young man.
Anyway, we had a chat. Let's hear it. Okay, it's 3/4 time, and the Crows are in front by not much. We've got Leo here. Leo, what do you think of the game at the moment? It's a pretty frustrating watch, isn't it?
Yeah, umpiring hasn't been great, but hopefully Crows can switch on in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, and what have you actually liked about what you've seen so far?
I've liked some of the efforts, but sometimes it hasn't been hard enough, I don't reckon.
Yep. So good. Okay, and what about standout players? Who do you reckon's having a good one?
Definitely Rob.
Yeah.
Good marks. Good big marks. Helped us a lot.
Yeah. What about Tommy Duday? He's having a bit of a rip snorter.
Oh yeah, he's been okay. Yeah. Good defence.
Right, and what do you reckon's going to happen in the last quarter?
I reckon it's going to be a lot like the first 3. Very close.
Close race. Yeah. You reckon we're going to get up?
He wasn't wrong.
I reckon.
Yeah. Good.
Hopefully.
On you, mate. Awesome. Love it, mate. Oh, sorry, Leo.
Sorry.
Didn't get up for you, mate.
People see things so differently to us, don't they, Rob?
Yeah, well, the thing is at the ground, you saw him taking big pack marks and it was raining. But when you start to think about it, that like he was literally probably half a foot taller than everybody else on the ground, it's sort of, you got to put it in perspective.
He's got to get him. He's got to get him.
Well, he should. His arms are literally taller.
Yes, yes.
His arm would be as long as my entire body, I reckon.
All right, so we do some votes?
Yeah.
All right, Lauren, who you got?
I'm giving 3 to Tom Duday. I thought he was instrumental in our defence, and his intercepts were fantastic. I think it was probably pretty close to his top game of the year. Mm-hmm. He had another great one, which I can't remember which one it was, but I thought he was great. 2 to Dawson. All I've got in my notes is Lord.
Lord.
He just It was weird because he didn't really seem like he was making an impact, but he really did.
Yeah.
But, he's a quiet achiever in that sense. Not this week for me.
Mm-hmm.
1 vote goes to Chase Jones. Another big game from Chasey. Love to see it.
Nice. Dan, who you got?
I just shuffled it around a little bit, Lauren. I put 3 for Dawson with his 30 disposals, 14 contested, 7 inside 50s and 6 intercepts. I had 2 for Jones, 20 disposals, 2 goal 2, a 92% time on ground, and his 6 score involvements and 75% efficiency. And then my boy, Tommy Duday, with 24 disposals, 100% time on ground, and 14 intercepts, which you mentioned, Lauren.
I actually didn't, but...
you talked about his intercepts. But
yes, I didn't say how many, but yes, very good.
I put 14 intercepts in my notes, Dan.
I didn't bother this week. I thought you guys would have it covered.
And I think Ben's actually forgetting one of his roles of writing the votes down, which is going to be interesting for later down the track. He's going to have to re-listen to the podcast. But who you got? Who you got, Ben?
Sorry, I was a bit
or we can just send them to him.
a bit concerned this week. I think Sam will attest to my vision at a game, and I haven't had the enthusiasm or time to watch the full replay. So I think at one point I said kick it to Tex in the goal square, and that was still thought.
Yeah.
I thought the same, so don't worry.
But yes, I have gone with Dawson for the 3. Chase Jones for the 2 goals out of 7's pretty good, and I went with Saligo, who was pretty good. And then he lost the last quarter. So, yeah.
Not his fault.
And I'm only laughing because I've got the exact same one. So lock it in.
You guys,
Yeah, we don't even talk.
It's like you guys sat next to each other at the game
Maybe.
or something.
Yeah, could have been. Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Tyson Edwards.
You're such a quiet achiever.
Too slow, Ben, but you can go first.
Thanks. I'll go with Keys. I thought he did a valuable job on keeping Dacos accountable. A lot of his possessions were kick-ins because we gave them so many kick-ins. And he was available for goals but not used. So he was maybe a little too quiet and not getting used appropriately.
Lauren.
My quiet achiever this week goes to Jake Saligo.
Very quiet in the last.
He was silenced.
Yes.
I do feel like there were a few amicable mentions for the quiet achiever this week. Luke Pedler, 2 goals 2 as well. Similar to Jones.
But he can't go in. He was shit, I think.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
He's not going in. But Ben Keys was the obvious other one because of that negating role against Nick Dacos, who was on Brownlow medal form before that game.
Sorry for being so obvious, Dan.
Perhaps still is. No, didn't mean it that way. But I actually thought, again, similar to Lauren, Jake Saligo was the quiet achiever based on the fact he was pretty much best on ground, then got dragged.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the epitome of a quiet achiever.
It is.
Poor bloke.
I just want to clarify. Pedler wasn't shit, but I couldn't put him in the votes after those. He lacked some poise, like I said early on in the season.
He usually has it as well, that was shocking to me.
Not according to Sam, he doesn't.
No, or not at the start of the year he didn't, and then I felt like he was gaining maybe confidence or something. And
the
when those games
suspension
were
might
winning,
have
it was
rocked him a little
great.
bit.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but he was.
I still love
he was
him.
soft. Oh
He'll
no,
be all right.
he's great.
Handsome bloke.
Love
No one's ever
say.
looked as red as him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And for the record, I went Tommy Duday. 14th.
Ooh.
Yeah. So he was just on the ground the whole time, and
He was 100%.
absolutely played his role. Yeah.
Friend of the pod, Tommy.
If you want to know what's in the spring, get into Rowan Jarman.
Good things. The HJ's visit and the signed burger that Boise got.
Oh, that was good.
I was like,
good.
are you ripping off my good from last week?
Oh, no. Generally, I
Just
don't
an extension of.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, this more about the burger that he got signed, which, well, actually, to be honest, I think those burgers last forever. Don't
Yeah, I was
they?
going to say, how do you preserve that? Well,
Well, I think they do because they don't disintegrate. Those
Boise
things.
would know because he is a HJ's king. I wonder if he's just chucked it in the freezer for preservation.
Does he work at the one that they went to? Is that
He works at lots of them, I think.
Oh, does he? Yeah, they move around a bit, don't they? Yeah. Look, this is going to annoy Bozza. Bozza might turn the podcast off after this one because I'm going to bring up the Tottenham v Liverpool game. Bozza is a mad Tottenham fan. So Richarlison scores his first goal of the season, shirt off, gives the shush to the crowd because they drew level with Liverpool 3-3, 93rd minute, I think it was. and the ball goes straight up the other end. He gives it up, and they score to lose. It was just absolutely perfect.
Oh,
like
dear.
football, that was just perfect as a Liverpool.
I reckon I might turn it off as well as interested. As I am
Sorry.
in that.
Well, I have turned off Ben.
Shall I start talking about NBA now?
This is a little bit of a general discussion. I was in the York Peninsula over the weekend. How good are country ads? Have you ever been like
On television?
Yeah, on TV.
They're pretty community station kind of vibe, aren't
They
they?
are. They're so low budget and they're
Yeah.
so good, and they've always got the owners in them, usually with a dog, and they're walking around like showing patrons.
It's kind of like the Noel's Caravan ad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that ran in town though, didn't it? Yeah.
Noel's Caravan.
Bla-
Noel's Caravan.
With Neil Curley just
Well,
like
now it's Malcolm
hobbling
Blight.
up. Yeah, it's Malcolm Blight
Bloody,
now.
yeah.
They're gonna,
It's kind of that
Messiah.
kind of
yeah.
Footwear sacrificed at half price and equipment slashed to half price. Rowan Jarman's huge half price sale. Don't miss it.
That Collingwood fan dropping the ball in front of Langford. This was from last Tuesday, but that needs to make the bads. It was. I was kind of funny until he gave the big like.
Oh,
whatever
yeah,
you
the
call
arm.
the big
Yeah.
arm.
I think
things.
if he left it at just dropping the ball, you go, oh yeah, look at that.
That's pretty funny.
Pretty funny,
Like,
but then he just went a bit over.
He carried on,
overboard.
and then he went on social media and he's created a whole TikTok page and he's trying to get famous off of it.
no, is
You know
he?
what I?
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's
Someone-
like, mate, you've
so-
crossed the line.
Yeah.
Someone commented that it should be 50 metres against the team. And I'm like, I actually don't mind that.
Could you imagine if we started penalising the
People
fans?
would stop doing it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's true.
That's classic.
Tim Gossage on SEN after the game saying that if Collingwood didn't win, they were robbed. And not only said it once, said it to pretty much every Collingwood fan ringing up, whinging about the umpiring after they won. Just,
Look-
I don't understand why they were so negative about the game. They bloody won.
Look, the umpiring was shit.
It was shit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. I don't think it was shit in like the Crows' favour the whole time. There were a lot of calls missed. There was a lot of kicking in danger that could have been called.
Well, Billy got a free goal from a nothing free kick.
Yeah,
that
it was
one-
just a shit umpired game. And this,
That blatant one in the goal square though against what's his name?
Johnson.
Johnson. Like that's a free kick every single day of
It
the week.
is, but
Yeah.
They were too scared to pay it. That's all
no,
it was.
the umpires were on the wrong side. If you watch the replay, it was really obvious to us that was high because we could all see it on
Yeah.
the side because we were on that side. But if you watch the replay from the umpires' angle, which
Yeah.
was on the other side, you actually couldn't really see Murphy's arm go that high.
Yeah.
It was just purely a missed call, and it didn't help in the end
No,
anyway.
That's right.
It doesn't
Well,
really matter.
You got to let it go when it doesn't kick.
The way they were umpiring, though, the guy from the opposite 50-metre arc probably could have called it because they did
What
that a
was
bit.
with
Yeah,
that?
they did do that.
And what I want to know in that situation is that why does the guy down the ground
Why-
get precedence?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems to be the person who feels strongest about
Yeah.
free gets their way.
So it's almost like if that's the loudest umpire, then he gets his way. It's sort of like the closest umpire decided that wasn't a free. Why does your opinion
Yeah,
from
it's
50
weird.
meters away overrule that?
So
It's
you think
kinda
like a
strange.
secondary arc sort of a situation
Maybe-
where they get a chance to
Oh,
debate the
Well, the arc-
debate with each other before they come up with a final.
The arc is very, very efficient. So I think for every umpiring decision, we could just use the arc. I think
Surely
that
we
would
may
work
as
really
well.
well.
Surely we've advanced to the point where the umpires actually have like an earpiece where someone can tell them you've missed a blatant free kick right there. Cool.
And look, the last of my bads was I couldn't imagine myself living there, Sicily, on the potential for the Tassie team when their team is
I knew you guys would love that.
sponsored by them.
You know,
Yeah.
As Taswegians, I knew you guys would love that.
Just as a good-
born and bred Taswegians, me and Sam.
Hey, just as a good segue into this, there was obviously the conversation that players can get traded against their will. Imagine if they changed Sicily there.
That'd be
I
so
bloody
good.
love it.
Yeah.
Everyone that I met in Tasmania when I went there wasn't from Tasmania.
No, they're
They'd gone
not.
there on holiday and they stayed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I'd
everyone
say-
who's born there leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd say there. I'd
yeah.
go there.
Hobart's
Hey-
lovely. Anyone that says Tassie's shit
You're
has not
wrong.
been to Hobart.
You're absolutely wrong.
People who like Melbourne have fucking lost it. That place is terrible.
Honestly, it reminded me of people who say that Adelaide's boring. It's like, well, you obviously haven't come and spent any time here.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you haven't spent proper time here and experienced it like you should.
Yeah.
You're a flog. Hey, I've got a good.
Yeah, go for it.
And that was me saying g'day to Tony Modra on the way out of the
Hey,
game
Mod.
on Sunday.
I
Now,
saw him too.
I didn't ask him if he wanted to come on the pod, and the only reason for that was because he was on the phone. He was like texting, and I didn't want to we were in the middle of the zombie walk on the way out, so I didn't want to stop.
Yeah.
To the bridge. But he looked me in the eye, and he's a very handsome man still. So I appreciated that, Mods.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The twinkle in his eye.
have
I
a
also
twinkle.
have a bad and sorry, Sam,
No,
to
it's
bring this up
okay.
now when you might not know about it, but
I
So
don't
it's
know
not
about
Sam's
Last
segment anymore.
No, I'm taking
Free for
over.
all.
Well, last week I had a taste, Ben, so
I have to break it to Sam that last week when he wasn't here in his own house, I brought some hot chips to share with everyone.
yes. Oh no, he's walked out.
Not happy. Where are they tonight, Dan?
Didn't have time. Had to get here for the nuffy.
Speaking of hot chips, though, I do want to. I was on the York Peninsula. I was at a place called Corny Point, and they've just got literally a pub and a corner store. Corner store looks terrible. Chips, some of the best I've ever had. They were so good.
For
Country
those who
hot
don't
chips
know,
can't go past it.
Sam's a massive Chippies fan.
I'm a big chippy fan, and they were delicious. So if you find yourself anywhere near the Corny Point General Store, highly recommend.
Love it.
Similar for Vivon Bay on KI. Get the Whiting Burger. Very tasty.
Have you been to Kangaroo Island?
Recently, Dan, yes.
He's the
have you
king.
been
He's
there?
actually
Yeah,
the
I
king.
have. I actually had that same Whiting burger yesterday.
It is very good, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah.
It's not cheap, but do yourself a favour.
Now I'm hungry.
Oh, yeah. Dog act. Well, I've stitched myself up this week because I
This is
have
gonna be
a bit of
good.
a tongue twister of a dog act, which Lauren has had good luck with that. I've taken out one syllable, so let's see how we go. First, we have the decision to bench Soligo, which everyone has strong opinions on. Clearly the wrong decision in hindsight, unless there's something behind the scenes that we're not aware of. But also, there's a special dog act, and I'm going to do two. And
Whoa.
they're going to just go
Back to back.
I'm just going to go hell for leather
Okay.
with the dog act.
Here we go.
Jetty, also, this one's for you, Jetty, if you're listening. It's about the next home game being scheduled on Mother's Day and what the fuck we're going to do about that. If you're going to bench Solly for the leg speed of Showy, give the game to Goey. Dog act. That's right. When you're scheduling the game for the cruise on Mother's Day and you've got hell to pay, dog act.
Well done.
Back to
Very
back.
good.
Back to back first takes, and we filmed it this week.
I can't believe it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well done, Dan.
Thanks, Ben, for filming that.
Thanks,
That's
guys.
excellent.
I'd never actually, I don't think I've ever really looked at you while you sung, but your left eyebrow really goes quite high when you sing.
That's my
This
reading
isn't a
eye.
visual podcast, but everyone's imagining it now.
Well, there is a video now to
Yeah,
everyone.
oh, yes,
we
we
can
can
all
post it.
comment on that
so
raised
glad.
eyebrow.
I'm so glad. Fuck you all. Out of bounds on the full.
Out of bounds on the full.
Are we going to get some new grabs from the AFL 23 game?
Absolutely. I've been watching a bit of gameplay footage, and it looks horrendous, but I'm going to buy it.
I'm going to buy it too. When's it coming out?
Thursday.
Oh,
I'm going to wait for Sam to get sick of it and then borrow it.
will it be on Nintendo Switch?
Oh, I don't think so.
How about the Nintendo Wii?
What
Absolutely
about
not,
Super
sorry.
Nintendo?
I do have a Super Nintendo still.
I've
does
got one
that
of those
not
little
surprise
mini
me at
ones.
all?
It's not surprising.
The original Mario Kart. Fantastic.
That is the best one
I do like it.
by far.
Have you guys seen any of the footage from the game? It looks like it's going to be a dumpster
How
fire.
do they keep getting it so bad?
Well,
not a big studio.
and it's such a hard game to do.
Yeah.
Look, I think that what they'll produce will be just fine for all of the problems that they would run into making a game like this. But
There's too much going on in a game of football. Like
there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. I appreciate how hard it is to make that game. It's no FIFA.
And that's it. Like FIFA makes EA absolute like billions of dollars from that. So yeah, they can obviously afford to splurge a little bit.
Anyway.
But we did have to love the daddy photo that you
Screen grab of Matthew Daddy.
Oh, is that
Hicks
from that?
Yeah.
was atrocious. What have you done?
He looks like an old bald Italian man.
Yeah, like, please get his handsome face right. Like, fucking hell. I'm just appalled, honestly. But they did the same thing in the last game to Brodie Smith. They really threw him under the bus with his facial expression. Anyway.
Well, I'm going to get it, so we'll have a bit of a pod session before the next
Oh,
podcast.
yeah, a bit of a
and we'll
live play.
And we'll give a review.
Yeah,
We'll give
okay,
some
that's
reviews.
good. Love it.
I think there'll be too many buttons you have to press.
There
For you?
probably will be.
Oh, yeah. Compared to...
Oh, dear.
What do we got on the social media front, Lauren?
All right. So, Maddie C, this is all in response to the game, really. Maddie C, so frustrating, but a lot of things to be positive about. Always felt like Collingwood were in the game and they were going to steal it. I will accept this loss if we can do the impossible and knock off Geelong. Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Brad Fitz. It was like the match was a screenplay. I think 83% of Crows fans after that first quarter knew exactly how it played out.
Yep.
And we have said as much.
Yeah.
Bozza, whose selections we will have shortly, that picture, which was Jake Saligo sitting on the bench in the last quarter.
I actually had to do a fair bit of watching of the game to find where that was
did
because
you?
I forgot that it was in the last quarter quite a way. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's some good effort from you there, Sam.
Thanks.
It's more than you usually put in. Bozza says, fuck that picture. Just when Swimming Cap and his flunkies signed me up, they pull some match-losing moves. Swimming Cap, how rude, Bozza.
No, I think that's a good nickname.
Saligo off, Shoe over Cook, Dawson behind the ball, Thorpe on the bench when he could be sitting in the hole taking clunks. Still hurts. Wholesale changes this week. Stay tuned.
Oh,
Yikes.
happen.
Jack Grover, great lesson for the team. It's what happens when you move away from what's been working and go into your shell. Hopeful they'll learn and put a game like that away next time. Collingwood have had a lot of practice at games like that, so understandable we felt the pressure. And that is true.
mm-hmm.
Boise, still seething. From 20 minutes in, I knew exactly how the game would pan out, and I was 100% spot on. Sligo being subbed out still has me punching walls like an angsty 15-year-old.
Same.
Chase is my positive from that debacle.
Yeah, good call.
Digger. Plenty will blame bad kicking, but that wasn't the problem. It was too much me time in front of goal. Not enough of I have a shot, but you have a better shot. Giving the ball to someone in a better position in front of goal was not our strong point, and we paid the price.
Just on that, Steve, as well, is, obviously two of the main culprits there were Rochelle and Walker. Rochelle, I love him. He's probably close to one of my favourite players these days outside of Tom Doedee. But he's just like blazing away a lot where he like when he first came in the side and he kicked the 5 goals on debut, he looked like he had a lot of composure. He seems to have he lairises a bit now.
This is the second week in a row that most people have said you got to lower your eyes, Josh.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And like I mentioned in the game review earlier on, is that he's taking these shots. Why is he taking set shots from like 45 out every time as well? And we want him closer to the goals and the ball needs to be there.
The R-Cup boys today actually made a good point, and that was that Ben Keys was free in the 50s
Yeah.
so many times. And they were just ignoring him.
Yep.
And I had him kicking a goal on my multi, so stop ignoring Ben Keys.
Also, I just wanted to say, Steve, with the plenty will blame the bad kicking. I'm also...
You're on board.
I hate blaming bad kicking for losses, but yeah.
Yeah,
I personally blame the bad kicking.
Kick one more of those goals and we win the game.
We can't all agree. Tyrone says, I can only see it going one of two ways. This is the loss that straightens them up and we take the next step and go on a streak to finish top 4.
Oof, that's some positivity from Tyrone. I like it.
Well, wait, there's a but.
Oh.
Or we collapse to lose 4 out of 5 on the trot and the season is cooked. They are definitely two extremes, Tyrone.
They are.
It could go either way.
Aurora says, in response to the Jake Saligo picture, why he sit there? He play well. Honestly, Aurora, I could not have said that better myself.
Yeah, that works. Yep.
Bozza says the recession we had to have after that.
Thanks for understanding where my tweet came from, Bozza, by the way, because that's exactly what I was going for.
Yeah, after that game, we don't need reality checks. The reality is we outplayed the Sea Wobbles.
Collie Wobbles.
Oh, sorry, I don't know the lingo. For most of the game,
Come on.
They only won in the last minute. Crow boys, onward and upward from here.
In capitals too.
Yeah,
I like
in caps. Dan Foster, you don't win games of footy with a 9-16 scoreline. Absolute shambles. Set shots with barely an angle or running into goal and miss from point blank. What a dog's breakfast.
Yeah, that ranking
That's one way to put it.
was bad.
You got some Instagram
I've
stuff?
got some Instagram. Diggers hit us up here too.
Yeah.
Saligo stubbed with the the eyes looking up emoji. Not happy. Kate said bargain bin, booing of JHF, not because it's unfair, but because it's spurring him into form.
He's using it for fuel now.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. Spence T. Dog act of the week has to be Brad Johnson actively cheering for us to lose all game.
Yep.
Fuck you, Brad.
Jack. Dog act. Subbing Saligo at 3/4 time and Maynard for punching Rankin. No suspension? ? Yeah. Didn't hear anything about that, did we?
Nope.
Daniel Altman. Dog act. Dawson for not dropping Dacos harder. Yes. Agreed. I'm not going to give Dawson a dog act, but I wish he did. Dog act. Maynard having an unnecessary punch up in every game he plays.
He just looks like an angry man, doesn't he?
Yeah. I wish he was playing for the Groves.
Yeah, we want him. We need an angry player.
Yeah.
We had a bit of feedback right after the game too.
Oh,
you put
yeah.
out a tweet.
I quite like that tweet. I reckon that works still. Are you talking about the don't know how to feel one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we still don't really know how to feel,
No,
do
we
we?
don't. No.
G, who has a lot of good analysis, I find, on Twitter.
Yeah, who is this guy?
I don't know. Where'd you come from, pig genres?
we need to reach out to this guy because he has some. Do you see his tweets? Because he tweets a lot about American sport as well.
He's very good. Inaccuracy cost the match, but this is what happens when you build an offense out of 35+ meter set shots. They play like a basketball team that shoots a lot of threes and doesn't have a guy that can get to the rim get the free throws.
I really appreciate that basketball knowledge.
I knew you would.
We need Jenkins back.
No thanks. Going to be at the mercy of accuracy all year. Our friend Adrian from the UK said, gutted, should have kicked straight in the first quarter. Amen, Adrian. And Gabe, frantically checking the score on my phone from a mall in Penang, just had to probably hand over mouth restrain myself from shouting, get fucked in the middle of the food court.
Very cool.
Maddie, end of the day, caught Collingwood on their worst day off a 5-day break with no ruckman and an early injury to go along with the multiple key outs already. Yet still not good enough. Harsh as it sounds, that's the cut and dry of it. That is harsh.
Yeah. Yep.
I like to think it's better than that.
I don't know about multiple. I keep hearing this multiple key outs. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Jeremy Howard, Scott Pendlebury. I don't know who else.
They keep putting Cox in that lineup.
Ruckman.
Also, apparently, they had
mate.
the flu. The flu was going around,
Sure
so
it
like, they were really hard done by in that game.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's
So
over
sorry,
now.
jeez.
It's over,
What is-
and we look beyond.
What's Bozza got for us?
Oh,
Come on,
fuck.
Lauren.
B to the Oz.
You don't even have to host this week, Lauren. Come on.
I'm not ready.
We'll press the buttons.
It's our 500th email in the Here We Crow.
Is it 500? 500, but
500 unread emails.
498 of which is spam.
Here we go. Bozza, what you got for us, mate?
Hey guys, Rando from the sauna. Nice and quick. We all know Nixie's not going to make any changes this week, so I want Rob out. I want Strawn in, and I want him to give some taps advantage, but that ain't going to happen. So I think it's Schuenberg out as a sub after that effort, and I think we'll be replacing him with hopefully Cook, where we'll be able to come on and give a better effort than the Shoe did last week. That's about it. But thanks for your time, and I'll speak to you next week. Thank you.
I love
Thank
Bozza's.
you, Bozza.
I love Bozza's enthusiasm for Braden Cook, but I just never hear his name in the mix. So I don't know that he's that close. Like
He
Luke
was in the
Nankervis.
emergencies this week, mate.
Like Luke Nankervis was
Yeah.
aimed for a debut the other week and didn't play. Like,
Well, Nankervis has been in the emergencies a couple of times, hasn't he? I don't mind it though because it's 100%. Well, like Schoenberg's not going to get named in any, even on the bench this week. Surely.
no, I get
So,
it. I think that's spot on. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think he'll get a game after that. But
Yeah.
I don't know that it's Braden Cook.
I've got
I hope it is, but yeah.
Hot off the press.
Ooh, what?
Crows have released their Indigenous Guernsey for the 2023
Oh, ours
for their
always looks
Sir
sick.
Doug Nichols round.
Hopefully they haven't ruined it.
Is that the?
It features a heartfelt family link with one of our favourites, AFLW Premiership player Danielle Ponta.
Ponce, yes.
Oh, that looks quite similar to one we've had before, I reckon.
Yep. It's designed by April Nampangadi Campbell, who is Danielle's auntie.
Cool.
They met recently in Adelaide, having only ever spoken over the phone after their family lost connection when Ponta's grandfather was forcibly removed from traditional lands as a 2-year-old. So that's really, really special. That's lovely.
Yeah, cool. I like the colours in it, actually. That's good.
Yep, it looks fucking great.
Yeah.
So can't wait to see everyone run out in that this year. That's excellent.
Very nice.
I did have another thing, but I've forgotten what it is. So that's a shame.
Do you want time to think about it?
A little bit.
While you're doing that, I'll just mention that Dan's jumped to the top of the ladder for fantasy.
I don't know. No one
Sam's
cares.
gonna-
However,
no one cares.
However, on the overall rank, Like with total points, you've dropped a second, Dan.
Oh, okay.
Crips Unzips has more total points.
What
than
the
you
hell?
do.
Where are you ranked, Dan? Are you dropped?
Yeah, I've dropped a fair bit now.
What are you down to?
I'm down to 2,495.
Oh, you're shit. It's not even worth talking
Whereas,
anymore.
you've got to get up to 942 for Crips Unzips.
It's a slippery slope now.
I'm feeling a bit devastated that I'm 4th overall for points, but sitting in 12th for wins. So
We're pretty unlucky in
Some
this
tough-
league to have Dan in the top 2,500 and then someone on top of him. This should have been.
yeah,
an
I
easier
think
league.
last year to this year, the standard has jumped a bit too much.
Yeah.
So we might need a
Why are you
fair
looking at
proviso.
me? I'd just like to announce that I finally cracked 2,000 points. It
Yeah,
only
well
took
done,
7
actually.
rounds, but
You did.
finally I've done it.
Well done, Lauren.
Fuck.
In the round that some people were scoring like 2,500.
Yeah, well, I'll
Don't
take what I can
downplay
get.
No.
I'll take what I can get.
You're only
thanks.
2 positions lower than Sam.
Yeah, no, I'm having a nightmare. So
Oh, well, that's okay. I feel better about that then. Our selections.
selections. We want to do
Should
that.
we
Or we're
talk-
just going to go straight into the preview.
Yeah, let's preview it.
Yeah.
Social media is over.
Social media is done.
We're done.
for the week.
But thanks everyone for your
Yeah,
input.
there's some new people in there too, which is great. I love seeing new names.
Yeah,
and
love
the,
it.
feedback.
Hope you're actually listening to the pod, not
Yeah,
just
yeah.
responding to our Twitter.
Yeah.
Selections. Well, I do agree with Bozza that I don't think Schomburg really showed enough in that whole 13 minutes of play
No.
that he should be sub. He needs a good run in the twos. I mean, he's been pretty good in the twos, so it's a little odd that he came on and was that.
I think there's just
but
such a huge gap between the twos and the AFL these days.
I just remembered what I was gonna say, and that is we had some devastating news today.
What?
Shane McAdam out for 4 to 6 weeks.
Did you shed a tear?
And Zach Taylor out for 12 weeks.
Yeah, that's not good.
Oh, I didn't even read that bit.
Nah.
What's he done?
Meniscus tear? A bit of, or lens
Oh,
frank,
that
or whatever it
sucks.
is.
Liz Frank, yeah.
Yeah. It's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, what is that, Ben?
I'd have to
Doc
look it up, but I
Larson's?
think they're quite different things.
Liz Frank's the heel, isn't it the arch of the
What
foot
do we
thing?
what do we get you on for if you don't even know the difference?
Yeah, Google it, Ben, while I'm talking about Shane McAdam.
Not a lot of the people I visit have Liz Frank injuries.
No.
What do they have?
It's confidential, Sam.
Look, I just can't believe it. I haven't seen Shane play a game of football in the flesh this season. Get suspended
Yeah,
in the
it's pretty
first
poor.
game, which was away for the first time in years that we've had the first round away. 3 matches out. Plays his first sample game, takes 1 kick, fucks up his leg, and now he's out for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
He ain't playing again. He's not playing this year in the
Oh my God.
ones.
Oh, you're calling
No,
it now.
not ever. Like I'm just saying, in
This
the
year.
in
Is
the
he-
ones, he's not going to get back in the team.
This year.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a massive
Is he
call.
contracted? Because Lauren might never see him again.
I mean, I can go to some sample games. I'm sure if he comes back all right. But
I reckon he'll be back.
So Liz Frank is a ligament in the foot.
I
and-
called it. I should be Doc Larkin.
Meniscus is in the knee, isn't
And
it?
the meniscus is a little bit of cartilage that floats in the knee. That's
I
right.
actually knew that. That was silly. I mean, that's what I was talking about. So
oh, sorry. Did you just make a Twitter account? Because we just got followed by someone called Crow Stats.
Oh. Have you noticed that there's a lot of weird accounts, especially on Instagram? There's lots of
Yeah.
crows themed
Crow
ones.
Edit.
And I'm pretty sure they all are the same person.
who's Crow Edit?
I think they're all the same person trying
Boz-
to make
Bozza.
it
Why are you
like,
acting like we would know these things,
Yeah.
Dan?
Because you guys follow podcasts.
Anyway, we should talk about the upcoming game
Yes.
against Geelong.
it's all depression. We're not going to win, are we?
It's going to be absolutely shit weather, so
Yeah.
we might be in with a chance.
So the weather's going to bring them down to our level.
Yeah, I think
the
so,
big
yeah.
thing, the big thing is like their strength has always been their back line, and then they've got like those power forwards in Hawkins and Cameron, who like Butts is in, as Ben said earlier, a rich vein of form, which was obviously the opposite.
Yeah.
He's been subbed off a couple of times, but I mean, I'm confident that Muzz can take one of them and keep him pretty quiet, but outside of that, I don't know what we're going to do.
Bart's plays on Hawkins and Murray has to play on
Yeah,
Cameron, doesn't he?
surely.
Yeah, which
But
is
can
a scary
Butts stop
proposition.
Hawkins?
Probably not. Well, I don't know. I think he could. I think it will match up on him better than Zerk Thatcher did on the
You'd
weekend.
like to think he's not going to kick 8.
Yeah, for sure. It's not. Look, I think any of us would be crazy to tip us But I think it might be one of our better chances to win down there. Geelong have looked a lot better than they did early on in the season when everyone was saying they've got premiership hangover, old and slow. They're clearly not that anymore.
They just flicked the switch.
They beat Sydney by 100 points and they beat Essendon, who everyone's been talking up. Collingwood only just got over Essendon the week before that. So, yeah, look, I think we match up okay with them in the midfield, and then up forward, obviously, it's our forward line versus their defence is going to be an interesting matchup. Their forward line versus our defence is probably where we're going to lose it. What do you guys reckon?
I reckon it's a game for our small forwards, if anything. I don't think Tex and Fogg are going to get much of a look in. I reckon you Rochelle, Pedler, Murphy, Isaac, those guys are going to have a bit of a chance to get goals at ground level if they can be around the spoilt marks that are obviously going to happen.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Last year we just kept bombing it to Stewart and he had a massive game. So we just need to
not do that.
We learnt a bit about, Dacos got 40 on us last year and we fixed that up. So hopefully they've got a plan to negate Stewart a bit this week.
If the weather's going to be as bad as Lauren Minicon thinks it's going to be, I hope we go in with maybe a shorter side as well, potentially. Maybe some changes there.
I'm actually concerned about the wet weather because Geelong are second for contested possessions and we are 16th.
Yeah.
So
look, it says here. Sorry, go Ben.
I'm just saying a wet contested game, I would say more favours Geelong than us.
Yeah.
25% chance of at least 7 mil of rain.
If we could do
25%.
75% chance of at least 1 mil. So there's definitely going to be some rain.
I think we should follow Geelong's theory of not playing a ruckman because that's worked pretty well for them in the past.
Like Bozza said, we're not dropping Rob, are we? Bickley gave him, second best on? He was,
Clearly people are seeing things differently.
They were some good marks. Yeah. But yes, the tap.
But he should have taken them
to be desired. Oh, not everyone. I don't know.
He was a foot taller than everyone else on the field.
He floated through.
And Phil thought was taking
just a sight to see, Sam. Even you at the game thought, wow, look at that.
Yeah, because he never takes them. He took 0 the week before.
Jeez,
that's true.
Keep working hard, Rob. Some of us are hoping you do well.
Ben's on his side.
Well, I'm not on any side, but I just he's.
I'd rather he do well than not well.
Oh, I want him to go well. He's just not.
He's seen very highly, obviously, to keep the thing, and realistically, he's going to be in the team, so we need him to play as well as he possibly can. So.
Well, Riley Thilthorpe gave him a big plug as well today on Nuzz's podcast.
Sensible Crow.
Well, he wants to be a midfielder. So
apparently
Thilthorpe does.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I'm happy about that. That's great.
Yeah, we like that. Thanks for that interview, Nuz. That was a great interview with Riley. If you're not listening to Sensible Crow already, what are you doing? Actually,
watch his download spike after that call out.
Shut up.
You're welcome, Nuz.
Sensible Crow has Lauren's seal of approval, so obviously he's going to be the #1 football podcast this week.
In Singapore?
Riley O'Brien actually did a press conference today. Did you bother watching that?
Which one?
Riley O'Brien did the press conference today.
Did he?
I forgot about press conferences.
No, I didn't. I watched VB's yesterday, but I didn't see Riley O'Brien's.
Maybe you should have a watch. See,
Why?
Maybe he'll get the tough
angry.
questions asked of him about his clearances.
Did he?
I don't know.
Oh, you haven't watched it?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we should watch it live.
Maybe with the power of the podcast, maybe we should just pause it here and listen to the podcast.
Maybe we.
The press conference. Let's do it.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was solid across the board.
All right, we just listened to Riley O'Brien's press conference. Got some thoughts, Lauren?
I want to say one word, and that's avoidance.
He did not answer the question about the tap work.
He did get grilled. I called it. He did get pretty grilled.
There was a direct question about hit-outs to advantage, and that was a somewhat evasive sort of
He didn't answer
Evasive is another good word, Ben. Shout-outs to a friend of the pod, Theo Drop, for laying on some hard questions to Rob there. I just said to you guys while we were watching, do you think Rob doing this press conference today was actually punishment for how shit he was in the ruck?
I don't think so. I think the club genuinely thinks he did a good job, which has always been our concern.
Well, he did get some coaches' votes.
That's why I'm worried.
Maddie. Sam, your thoughts? Dare I ask?
Well, look, we made fun of him. We've got some stingers from him in a previous press conference of him avoiding any responsibility, and that press conference reeked of it to me.
I mean, I know you do go into a press conference and you want to be a team player, but being a team blamer seems to be Rob's ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was solid across the board.
It just, I don't know.
Did not like those hard-hitting questions.
Like you said, credit to them for really going hard because they did. They kept going at him about the clearances and the hit-outs to advantage, which is great. Great reporting, really, because that's what we're all wondering. That's what we would have asked him.
Yeah.
But obviously, he sort of wanted to avoid any responsibility in potentially that result. So,
Anyway, that was an interesting project.
Yeah, go and listen to it if you're Rob agnostic like we are.
Having said that, Sam, I probably would have just asked some sort of fluff question about, I don't know, something not related to football.
About
Geelong like
or something.
Where have you lived that I've lived? So.
What's your favourite golf course?
Yep.
Do you grow tomatoes or capsicums?
This is a big assumption, but I think Rob is maybe one person in the team that I could maybe beat at golf.
Oh, you reckon?
I get that opinion, yes. I think a lot of them would have me, they'd smoke me.
Yep.
The way he drops a ball, the way he runs, it just doesn't scream
you can't
coordination.
See the swing. Can't see the swing.
I can't see a solid, repeatable swing.
What about the way he kicks?
The arms in the air.
Whoa!
I could be wrong. I'm waiting now for someone to ask how good he is at golf.
I feel bad.
Look, we shouldn't bag Rob too much. We do want him to succeed, but clearly he's not right now. So
he's obviously he's a good chef according to Tommy Duday.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
well,
that's true.
We can talk about some cooking.
Very intelligent, doing medical science or something.
Yeah, we won't get into that, but you could talk about some pickling and relishing.
Follow some very confident people on social media.
Well, I mean, he clearly is very confident.
Maybe that's where he gets his avoidance tactics from.
Yes, he's read the book several times.
There's not a lot of eye contact in his press conference.
No.
Anyway, we should stop this.
One thing I did want to just bring up that Dan reminded me of, Wayne Miller has copped a bit of heat on Twitter and just in general after the game. How are we feeling about Miller? Is he someone that might find himself out of the team?
I love Wayne and want him to succeed after lots of injury and whatnot, but he is borderline. Like, I don't know what he's offering in the team at the moment. He seems to be slipping under the radar.
Well, a couple of weeks ago when Ben was in Kangaroo Island, you're in KI, right, Ben? I
did go to KI.
Did you go to KI?
And we had
I've been there.
Our friend of the pod, friend of the pod, guest host Kate on.
Yes.
And she actually gave Miller the Tyson Edwards Quiet Achiever nomination.
Yeah, he had a good week that week.
Because he did have a good week. And we were kind of really positive about it because we were like, he's had a good run at it. But I don't know. I think he's just under the radar kind of player.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he wasn't. Like before he,
we do want him to settle a lot.
Before he did that knee injury, like it wasn't ACL, but he did that one that kept him out the whole year. Anyway, he was one of those players that could do the side step and sort of get around and do some flashy things, like sort of Andrew McLeod style stuff. He's just not. Doesn't seem to be able to do that anymore.
I don't know whether it's a position thing for him. I just don't love him in the defence.
His disposal's really bad. It's quite bad. Can't trust him.
Well, and the thing is, he goes. I think he knows that, and he goes for that safe kick more often than not as well. Yeah, that 25 sort of straight to the side.
He needs to be better. Like he's top 20 draft pick, and he should be well in his prime now. But he seems to have gone backwards.
I think the other thing is you've got Worrell back playing, and he was showing a lot at the end of last year. So
does Worrell come in for Miller?
Possibly. I don't know. I don't know if they'll give him more time to really build into it, but I don't know who comes out, but at some stage it would be really good to see Worrell back in the team.
Yeah, definitely.
Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Another team's enough.
Boys, I'm very excited about our Nuffy this week. Joining us tonight is a true legend of Australian comedy. He's the old triple threat, stand-up comedian, radio host and actor. You've seen him as a frequent guest on Spicks and Specs, Have You Been Paying Attention, The Project, one of my favourites, the Agony series. Plus, he's starred in cult classic Australian movie The Nugget with Eric Bana and Stephen Curry, as well as ABC's Utopia and Fisk. He's a prolific podcaster, hosting 3 podcasts, including Somehow Related with Glenn Robbins, my favourite snack food chat show, The Junkies with Kitty Flanagan, and his very own comedian Q&A podcast, The Debrief, which I'm pretty sure we're interrupting right now. He saw the Cats win a flag in the flesh, and he's here to rub it in our faces tonight. It's the twisty-loving, Diet Coke drinking Dave O'Neill.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry after that description.
I'm starving, Dave.
Bloody love Diet Coke.
Oh, it's the best. Dave.
And they're trying to get rid of it. I'm so onto them. You can't get it on a plane. You can't get it at Macca's. Yeah, it's really annoying me.
Yeah.
And you know what? Diet Coke gets mentioned in songs. Wilco and Wet Leg both have songs that mention Diet Coke. Who ever mentions Coke No Sugar?
Exactly, no one.
No one.
Honestly,
No
it was
one.
an absolute travesty that they got rid of Coke Zero, Dave, because I had to revert back to Diet Coke. But you're right. There is a mission by Coke to get rid of Diet Coke, but I don't think they know the market they have.
Well, no, I spoke to the rep at the local pub, and he said, honestly, we try to get rid of it, but the market remains. And I said, what's the market? And he said, middle-aged and elderly women.
Well, that's me.
And me.
And you, yeah. Dave,
Anyway,
we have...
go Cat.
Dave, we actually have you to thank as you're the person responsible for our two previous nuffs in Limo and Husey, and they were awesome to chat to.
Yeah. Jesus, right here, just getting 4 years. No, the blues.
Oh, so Hughes is there.
I love that how that came about. I love that you just gave me his phone number without me even asking for it.
Well, there's a lot of comedy. So if you ask me for Glenn Robinson's number, there's no way I could give anyone his number. And the same with Judy. But Judy, yeah, I'd give it to anyone. She doesn't care.
It's
Give me
fantastic.
my number. I don't care. But I'm the same. Whatever. What if some guy wants to ring me up and ask me to do a gig or go on a podcast? Who cares?
Well, we did try to get a hand from you getting Sam Pang on the pod, but you told us that was a no-go, which is fine.
It's
We
hard.
understand.
It's easier to book Matt Damon on The Tonight Show to get Sam Pang.
He does come across that way.
Yeah.
But we appreciate it anyway. We've absolutely loved it. You're the first famous nuff that we've had that's had some recent success with their team. So tell us how you came to support the Catters.
Well, I grew up in a very Collingwood house. My dad and brothers are my dad's dead, but my brothers are still mad Collingwood. But I rejected that as a child. I wasn't into it. And so Dad would go off by himself. This is the 70s and 80s because he had 4 boys, and Mum would just say, don't let him go. He needs to, blow off some steam.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't into footy as a kid. I wasn't into it. Then I moved into a shared house with all guys from school. They were mainly Collingwood too, and I wasn't into it. And then I met my wife, and she's from Geelong. So my daughter started playing footy, so I had to go along and, help. You got to help when they're in the juniors.
Yep.
And so my mother-in-law, Betty, was a mad Geelong supporter, and so I would take her and my daughter to the game. And then Betty died, and so I had to take just my daughter to the game, and I just got right into it.
Love
it. That's how it happened, yeah. So it was like marrying a Catholic. I had to convert.
It's a big decision. And last year you went to the grand final. How was that experience?
Oh, it was fantastic because I went to quite a few of the finals. I went to that one where they played Collingwood and Gary Rowan dropped the ball and in the last 30 seconds or whatever it was, and then was Holmes picked it up. No, they handballed it to Holmes and he kicked a goal and they won. And that was so stressful because it was a very close game.
Yeah.
But the one against the Swans, the grand final, was great because it was all over by half time, so you could just relax.
It was rubbish to watch at home.
Yeah, I know. Everyone except Geelong supporters go it was rubbish.
Yeah.
But I had to buy tickets for it was like $1,200 each off a dentist on the day in a pub.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the dentist thing.
So I had to meet him on the day, and because he got upgraded to better seats or something, and so but it was worth it. Yeah, it was great.
Oh, become a dentist. That's the lesson there.
Yeah.
Dave, as a Cats fan, how do you see your trade relationship with the Crows over the journey? Your captain, Patrick Dangerfield, is a premiership hero. Tyson Stengel. Yeah. We obviously got Ronnie Burns and Dean Gore, so it's really debatable who's better off.
Yeah. No, I mean, Paddy apparently was depressed in Adelaide, wasn't he? And he just wanted to come home. And so, no, we were wrapped to get both of them. But I mean, was Tyson Stengel any good when he was a Crow, or I can't remember.
He didn't. I don't think he lived up to his potential.
I think there's a chance he was slightly distracted. I think.
Yeah.
Playing for the Crows.
Oh, that's right. He got pulled over and he had drugs or something, didn't he?
Yeah.
Several times.
There's some bad influences. So they reckon it's been Eddie Betts that has been like a father figure to him.
Yeah.
And coached him.
That obviously helps. That's it.
Yeah. So, and Paddy is just so happy to be back at Moggs Creek. I did a gig the other day in Torquay, which is near Moggs Creek, and Paddy's mum and dad and uncle were there. So that was exciting, getting to meet them.
Bit of a contact high. But in 2002, obviously, Lauren mentioned you were in the film The Nugget with Saints Nuffy Eric Banner. Can you put us in contact with the great man before next week?
No, again, he is one of those guys that is so hard to get onto, and he won't. Even though, you know what he loves? He loves the Saints, and he loves cars, and that's about it. So,
not podcasts.
But he wouldn't. He's a massive Saints supporter though. He goes to the games and stuff.
Yeah.
But he loses his mind at the game. So he's married to a woman who was a publicist at Channel 7, and her dad's a judge. He's like one of the High Court judges, Judge Gleeson. And I don't know if he's still going, but he was. So they're pretty posh. And so Eric took the brother-in-law to the footy. They're all from Sydney, and Eric's there losing his mind. And the brother-in-law on the way home goes, "You're really a different person at the football, aren't you, Eric?"
We can get Eric can come on as Poiter if he wants. That's fine with us.
Yeah, Poiter. I used to write a lot of the Poiter sketches.
I love it. Sweet.
Back in the full frontal days. But there's other state supporters you can get. Matthew Hardy is a good one, who wrote a book about. He's a comic, and he wrote a book called Saturday Afternoon Fever about growing up being a Saints supporter.
I love it.
I
Lauren will hit you up.
Dave, you need to be our talent. You need to be our talent manager, mate. Just keep throwing the.
Sigil got a few famous supporters, I think.
Yeah.
Eric's a big one though.
We're trying to get
landing Eric would be like landing a whale though.
Oh yeah. That he's a big one. He's a big one.
Dave, is there any chance you can revert Tom Hawkins back to the old slow version from the first few weeks?
Yeah. He just takes. I went on the weekend and saw him kick 8 goals, and he's just obviously warming up.
Yeah.
Is that what's going on? I'm no expert. You guys are probably more of an expert than me, but.
Yeah, well, he was copping it in the first few weeks, saying that he was too slow.
But then it's funny when he runs, he can't really run.
No.
Good.
He's just
what
smart.
about the tall guy from Essendon that was on him? He was just like a rag doll hanging off him.
Yeah, that was that Zirk Thatcher, wasn't
Who are
it?
the Crows going to put on him? Have they got a big bloke in defence they can
we've got Butters, who's in a rich vein of form at the moment.
Geordie Butters.
Keeps getting subbed out at the end of the game.
I'm going through a tunnel.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
I'll call you back in a sec.
Okay.
Hello, we're back on.
Yeah, I went through a tunnel.
That's all right.
All good.
Right, let's crack on.
All right, so after a scratchy start to the year, the Cats look like they might have hit top gear just in time to play us in Geelong. Do you think the Cats are a strong chance against again this season from a fan's perspective?
Yeah, I reckon. I mean, I'm no expert. Biggest threat is Collingwood, but I mean, I've been watching the Crows, and they're very good. So, but my local barista George, who's a footy expert, he said it should be all right because it's at home. So,
yeah, I think the last time we won there was in like 2002, I think.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's a long fucking time.
Yeah,
I think we might be due.
Anything can happen though, can't it? That's the thing. There could be a few injuries. Jeremy Cameron gets run over by one of his cows or something. I don't know.
So you're saying there's 21-year-olds that have never seen us win at the Cattery?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing. It's amazing.
It is.
Dave, the last time I saw on TV from your home ground, there appeared to be looks like half a construction site. Is Cardinia Park ever going to get finished?
No, well, we were talking about this the other day, and they got steel, but it was Chinese steel that wasn't very good, so they can't use it.
Oh,
so
right.
they've got to wait for the steel to be ready. This is all from Patrick Dangerfield's dad told me this.
Yeah, right.
Hot off the
Got the
press.
inside word.
Is he the mayor of Geelong?
No, but that's interesting because Paddy's father-in-law wants the mayor of Geelong. Yeah, they're very close.
Wow.
Very close.
Yeah.
That's a steer. Because it is funny when it cuts to it, there's a security guard sitting in a massive open space. Yeah.
It looks done enough though. You could do a BYO chair situation on the concrete though, surely.
Yeah.
Exactly, it's Geelong. There's heaps of bogans. They bloody love it. You know? Come on.
Yeah.
A few cars around beeping the horns.
Yeah. Speaking of Geelong, I actually lived there it was in the time of their first premiership for ages in 07.
Wow.
And it gets fairly maligned, a bit of derision from up Melbourne way. What are your thoughts of it as a town?
Well, my wife's from Geelong, and when we go down there, she's like, so she had a miserable time growing up there, so she's always hating on it. But yeah, I think it's good because of course I've got friends that have moved there because it's cheaper to live there. There's plenty of jobs there, and so I quite like Geelong. You know, I could live there, but she can't because that's the school I went to. That was traumatic. But I quite like it. I like Geelong.
Which part of Geelong did she grow up in?
Well, she moved around a lot. She moved 7 times because her dad was a teacher. I don't know why they moved so much, to be honest. But
well, I can't imagine why you'd have to move around in Geelong for a teacher.
Exactly. Her dad was a teacher at Geelong College. Her dad was a teacher at Geelong College, so she got cheap fees or whatever. But then he left, so she had to go to Belmont High in Year 10. So I think it was traumatic for her.
Fair enough.
I laugh now.
Dave Lauren's informed me that this won't be a controversial question to you in particular, but you're obviously a fan of Twisties. Why is the best flavour cheese by a long margin?
I love cheese, but I also love chicken too.
Oh.
So, yeah, I love. You don't like chicken at all?
No,
I don't mind
can't
chicken.
have it.
It's a every now and again flavour for me though.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, my wife actually loves chicken, and so she'll get them occasionally. But I just love cheese.
Yeah, me too. Yep.
It's a pure flavour. It's a beauty.
We tackle the big issues here.
And made in Adelaide. Twisties made in Adelaide.
Did you get to go to the Twisty factory when you were here for the Fringe
No.
Days? Oh, what's going on? I thought that was a promised thing.
Well, Kitty wasn't there, but we might organise it.
Yeah, you've got to go.
Yeah, there's a guy called Wayne from PepsiCo who listens to the podcast, and I've done gigs for him, and he's always promising, but I'll have to get on to him.
I'll get on to him. All right, we've got to do our next bit, which I talked to you about. We've got a little intro for it. Hang on.
Give the kick to Dennis. So we're right behind him, and the Carlton fans are right behind him. Once, twice, 3 times.
Oh, look at that.
Yes! He's the master blaster.
All right, Dave, I asked you during the week who you thought the Dennis Armfield for Geelong would be this week against the Crows. Who's the kind of average Geelong player who was going to be played into form by the Adelaide Crows? Have you had a think?
Right. Graham Myers is going to kick 4 goals.
Oh, yeah, that would happen.
Because you see he's got the highest goal assist, but no goals.
Yeah, and I know because I put him in my bloody same game multis every week and he fails. I don't know why.
I still can't get over a man named Brian.
Yeah.
For my birthday, my kids got a personal message from him for me.
Oh, that's
cute. They paid $50 for Graham Myers to stand there looking awkward.
Worth every cent, I imagine.
Well, my favourite player is Cam Guthrie, but he doesn't do them, and so I got my second choice.
I can't believe it's more expensive to get a video message from Brian Myers than it was to get Hughesy on this podcast.
Yeah, well, I know. You do a gig for nothing. Oh, well, I love it. I do it for nothing.
We should have called him up for this. Dave, thanks very much for coming on Huey Crow and talking with us about Geelong. Now, before you shoot off, I just want to ask you, as a massive Junkies fan, and I'm wondering when the next episode is coming out. But what's your favourite?
We taped some last week, so I'll be out on Sunday. Sorry, what's my favourite?
What's your favourite snack to eat while you're watching the footy at home?
I quite like playing chips, like tins. I like tins. Yeah,
Thins?
I quite like them.
Just original.
Yeah, just the thins. Yeah, the original thins.
Yeah.
I love them.
I love
That's
chicken
all
thins.
So,
They're great.
on Saturday, for example, I'm going to be in Mount Isa doing a gig because I do all the big ones, and and so I'll be watching it. I'm in my motel room. If I can find a pub, I'll go to the pub. So I'll be having some chips then. Don't worry.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
All right. And also, obviously, before you go, what's your prediction for the game?
Yeah, Geelong by 18 points.
18.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
pretty
we're gonna
close.
probably take that. Yeah.
That's as good as a win for
Where
the
are
Crows.
they?
We appreciate that. Thank you.
No worry. Well, I went to the Essendon game, and the last 10 minutes, Geelong just sort of gave up and just let them kick goals. I have a crack for it. The Essendon guys had a crack.
Well, it's supposed to be pretty terrible weather there on Saturday, so might get a bit of hail apparently.
That's pretty standard for the category.
Yeah, that's standard, exactly.
Well, who knows what will happen? Who knows? We're hoping for the best, but I'm not sure.
We
about.
can't be positive.
Dave O'Neill, thank you so much for coming on Here We Crow. I'm a huge fan, as you know, so I'm very, very pleased to have you on. Hopefully we can have you again next season, and hopefully Geelong will have another premiership flag to wave in our faces.
Might happen. No worries. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Dave.
Dave.
Thank you.
All right, predictions. Go on.
You're looking at me like
Yeah.
I know what to say.
You know what to say. We're not going to win. This is how much.
I don't want to say that. I'm the same as last week, where I'm like, we obviously it's expected of us that we're going to lose, but I still feel like we're going to be competitive, and I feel like the weather is going to be an advantage for us if it's really shit weather. Like, it's going to be another scrappy game. I feel like we can probably hold out. Yeah, I can't confidently say we're going to win. That's for sure. I don't know. I hate tipping against the Crows, even in dire times like this.
Fair.
So Geelong will win by 10 goals. No, maybe not 10. Maybe more like 3.
Yeah. Dan?
It's like one of these things. If Collingwood didn't break our spirit in that game, then we should be highly competitive again this week, and we should be able to get within 4 goals of Geelong. So my actual tip is 24 points Geelong, but if Collingwood did break our spirit, then 10 goals Geelong.
I actually think us losing against Collingwood puts us in better stead for
I love
taking
it, Ben.
the next
We,
game.
we
keep
think,
talking,
we
keep
think
talking.
way too similarly when it comes to this.
I think
shit.
if we'd won that game, we'd be like, geez, how good are we?
Yep.
Yep.
Go a bit too lackadaisical to
pretty
Say that one
close, I
again.
reckon.
Say that one again.
no.
Lackadaisical?
I understand that Sam's getting feedback
getting
about it.
feedback.
I need the
Yeah,
dictionary
so
up for that one.
to make sure I got every
That's
syllable
the
out
episode
there.
name.
Pterodactyl.
Lackadaisical.
So I think it means we go with the right attitude. It's a 20-year history of not winning, though. So I actually thought 24 as well, Dan, for a loss. But it wouldn't be the biggest shock in my life for us to come out and win this game.
Yeah.
Neither.
I think exactly the same. I put in my notes that us losing that game, if anything, probably helps us this week. We don't go in overconfident on 5 in a row. 5 in a row, we lose this game by 10 goals. Like, that might seem silly, but I just feel that's how we would have gone in.
Well,
But I still think
basically
we'll lose.
agree. And then I tipped Geelong.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
No, I still think we'll lose. I think we might make it a competitive game, and I don't think we'll lose any admirers from it. So
I
let's go
don't
4
think I'm going to
goals
have
as
any
well.
feelings about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be genuinely upset if we lose.
Yeah.
I'll be fucking stoked if we win, though.
We all will be.
Yes, we will. All right. Are we done? Is this it?
Yeah,
We're
do
just
you
talking
want
about the beer?
to talk about beer quickly?
Yeah, the beer was weird, wasn't it? I
it was
liked
too
it.
sweet for me, but it
was
wasn't
very
gross,
sweet.
but
No.
it was like, I can't have another one.
It's a white chocolate stout, so it is a stout. If anyone drinks this, but it does look like a normal beer.
I was very into it.
Yeah, well, it had lactose in it, so you love lactose, don't you?
Like, I don't,
Love
but
lactose.
I don't
Love
actually
lactose.
drink any lactose normally.
No.
Like, I don't even drink full
Just
cream
in
milk.
beer.
But no, I just really liked the flavour. I was when you sent this to me during the day, I was like, yeah, day made. I'm looking forward to that later on, and I was. So yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, it was vanilla-y and okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was too vanilla-y for me.
Fair.
Not bad though.
All right.
It's fine.
Good pod team. I think
Yeah, well
that
done.
went well.
Well done.
Any feedback on our slightly different structure, let us know.
DMs are wide open.
They are.
Don't send us spam though.
If anyone likes us enough to give us some money, we would love to sell some merch.
Yes,
So
buy the merch.
it's there, herewecrow.com.au. You will find all our merch options. And if you want a different option than what we've got on there, feel free to reach out too, because we can actually just do whatever you like. So we can throw it up there.
We've got a designer on hand.
We do. Yeah. Lauren will do you a bespoke design if you want. If you want your name on it, just ask.
Oh,
we
yeah,
can,
okay.
We can do anything. No, look, good pod, everyone. Look, I'm not going to say anymore.
Oh,
I
okay.
think we're done. That's it. Yeah.
All right, thanks for that, Rolly O'Brien.
I had a little bit of a monologue there, but I think we're
all a bit
done.
Sam would just like,
self-congratulatory now.
Sam's just patting himself on the back. Good, well hosted, Sam.
Yeah,
well done.
thanks, guys. No, I
Welcome
appreciate
back,
that.
welcome
No,
back,
thank you, Lauren.
No, thanks. Yeah, thanks to you.
And thanks,
guys.
And thank you, Dan.
Yeah,
And thank you, Ben.
Thanks, Sam. And depending on whether I get my way, we've got an ode to Dangerfield on the way out.
Yes, we do. Good
Yes.
night. Good night, listeners.